Hey guys, it's Josiah here back again with another video. Now in this video we're going to be going through LinkedIn versus email, and I wanted to make this video for anyone looking to jump on, let's say, LinkedIn or email, or you're trying to decide which one is the best outreach method for you, whether that be email or LinkedIn. And I wanted to break it down for anyone who's looking to scale, book more appointments, and just basically just growing up their agency. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Josiah. Everyone calls me Jozy. I've scaled my own agency from 0 to 50K per month. I've helped other agencies go to 7 figures, even multi 7 figures by using just LinkedIn or even email. And I help agency owners just scale by having automated systems, LinkedIn, email, every single thing like that. There's a link below in the chat if you want to learn more about it. But without further ado, let's get into the video in terms of what is better, LinkedIn or email. Now, the first thing I want to go through is just kind of the pros and cons for all of them, right? So for example, we got the pros as well here for both LinkedIn and email, and also kind of the cons, right? So let me just go with the pros first. Number one, LinkedIn, you tend to have a higher kind of KPI, to have higher results, meaning that, for example, it will only take you 50 messages, usually with a good system. 50 messages equals one appointment, right? For us currently is around 25 messages equals one appointment, right? Whereas this is really good. Whereas like you can scale this, emails a lot lower because you send a bit more emails to get one appointment, right? But just to get LinkedIn to start working, it's just literally you send 50 messages, you send 25 messages, then boom, that's an appointment, right? The main thing about email or LinkedIn or anything like that, LinkedIn is also allows you to leverage content. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, because content with LinkedIn, you can get inbound leads with content, right? Whereas with email, you can't leverage that inbound attraction, right? Especially you have to just send emails, and there's no, people can look at your landing page, they can look at your website, but usually LinkedIn, they just see it as your page, right? Because the thing about LinkedIn, essentially your profile equals your landing page, right? So here you got your profile that equals your landing page, and because of that, you don't need to send that much messages from LinkedIn to start booking appointments. You can also get inbound appointments as well from LinkedIn. And essentially what you can do on LinkedIn, what you can do on email, is that you can send more personalized approach, right? Now with email, you can, and what I mean personal, I mean such as like voice notes, right? Voice notes, or even videos, right? Now with email, you can send some, let's say, Loom videos, things like that. But LinkedIn voice notes videos work really, really effectively. It's really, really easy to start scaling that. Okay. Now talking about, so that's the pros for LinkedIn. And LinkedIn for is really good. Like LinkedIn, we've scaled on LinkedIn right now. We're booking around 300 plus appointments on LinkedIn, right? So it's scaling perfectly for us. We use all of these, this system, easy to find. One pro about LinkedIn that a lot of people don't understand as well is that there's no deliverability issues, right? That's one big pro, deliverability issues, right? Whereas with email, there is deliverability issues, right? So with LinkedIn, you can actually message 100 people and all of them will see it. There's no spam folders, there's nothing like that. So you just can message them straight away. With email, there is deliverability issues. There is, you have to be a bit more smart in terms of how much you spread the emails across different mailboxes. And that's why, of course, it's email, right? That's why it's the game that we're playing, okay? So I'm just going to put it here. I'm going to put it here, right? So another pros, that's for, let me just put here LinkedIn, right? So that's just LinkedIn. I'm going to put LI for LinkedIn, right? And then that is LinkedIn. And also for email, here are other pros, right? So email, highly scalable, right? Meaning that anyone can literally buy 25 domains. So 25 domains plus 50 inboxes and scale. And scale, right? Thing about email, it's you can automate LinkedIn, right? You can automate LinkedIn messages, and that is a pro. You can automate that. But email, there's a lot more automation, right? Email, in my opinion, is highly automated, right? Very highly automated. Okay. Easy to set up. So anyone can set it up. Easy to set up. And then also can reach usually higher percentages depending on niche. So higher reach of people, right? Because everyone has an email, but not everyone is active on LinkedIn. That's one of the biggest things. Like everyone has an email, but not everyone is active on LinkedIn. And that's what you really have to understand. So that means there's a high reach of people, so you can target more local businesses, more B2B, which we're going to get into that. But that's kind of how it goes when it comes to email. Another pro about email, I'm just thinking here, you can utilize Loom to make it more personalized. So it has highly automated personalization. So using things like Clay, Loom, personalization. I'm not going to finish. I don't have the space. Personalization, right? Such as like Loom or Clay, right? So if Clay basically allows you to automate the first line, Loom allows you to send like an automated Loom video, right? So you can automate and personalize a lot of the email, and it is very highly scalable. So with email, you can just do this with like a one-man team. LinkedIn at scale, you would need setters, right? And email, you can then get like a inbox manager, right? Inbox manager, and then scale it as well, right? But these are kind of the main pros about email. Highly scalable, highly automated, easy to set up, right? It's basically kind of a plug and play thing that you can just set up. And to be honest, it requires less maintenance than LinkedIn from my experience, right? And we book like 100 plus appointments from email. So it's pretty much like this. So again, the overviews of the pros, LinkedIn, there's a higher KPI. You can get inbound leads. You can, of course, personalize a bit more than email by sending voice notes. There's no deliverability issues. And it is a bit more manual than email, in my opinion, right? But email, highly scalable, fully automated, and yeah. So the thing about email is that you're really trying to do this because the game that you're usually playing with both of them is quantity versus quality, right? And this is another video, but it's essentially saying that like we ideally one person, especially when it comes from email, a lot of emailers are all about quantity, right? And a lot of LinkedIn are all about quality. They want to make sure each LinkedIn message is proper, everything like that, right? The goal of this is to, especially when it comes to scaling, is to put these two together, right? So having kind of a quant/quality approach, right? Where you use both the best words, you scale as much as possible, but you also scale the quality of the outreach, right? So we do this by using Clay, plus also Loom as well, right? But mainly Clay. We've been using Clay recently, okay? And essentially these are kind of like when you're looking at both of them, you're deciding between when it goes from one to the other. This is kind of what I will look like, right? I'll look at all of these and I'll be like, okay, which one, depending on my goal, is gonna the pros that I want and the pros that, and also the opposite is the cons, right? So LinkedIn is less kind of automated than email. Email has like worse KPIs than LinkedIn, and you send more to make up for that volume. Okay, so these are kind of the forefront in terms of what you need in terms of pros. What I wanted to go through is essentially what would this be best at? Because now, if you are watching this, I'm assuming you're an agency owner, which means, or you're looking to be an agency owner, which means you're going to be targeting a niche, right? So here is, I'm just going to put it here. One is the niche, because for different niches, you're going to require different things. So there's essentially two niches, overall niches that you want to go to. So it's mainly B2B or local business, right? Okay. Now, in terms of local, this could also be like e-com. Now, e-com is an exception to this rule, and I'll explain why in a minute, right? But essentially B2B or local business, okay? Now, when it comes to, let's say, B2B, you could use both. So B2B equals email or /and LinkedIn. Okay. Whereas if it's mainly local, now I don't know about you, but I've never seen a plumber having a big LinkedIn post about the top 10 things they wish they would have known as a plumber. No, right? It's essentially going to be email. Now, this is going to be email plus calling or text. Now, we're going to go into that in a minute. And this is usually what I found to be it. So, if I was targeting B2B, I would ask myself, especially if my niche is posted on LinkedIn, I would focus more on LinkedIn, right? Now, there's different carrots. So, for example, if it's like B2B manufacturing, we've seen a lot of them on email, right? So, if it's like B2B manufacturing, we know email works really, really good for them. They're not as active on LinkedIn, but for 80% of B2B, like accountants, lawyer, even some B2B lawyers, agency owners, coaches, they're all going to be on LinkedIn. And at this stage, I'll implore you to prioritize LinkedIn if you're targeting these people. Whereas if you're targeting someone like plumbers, electricians, all these places, I will then go with email and calling / texting, right? Because they're going to be on that platform. They're mainly going to be on the phone, really, but they are going to be like looking at the emails to get invoices from clients, to pay vendors, everything like that. So they are going to be on email. And this is kind of what we recommend all of our clients to be using, rather email for local businesses plus some form of calling and texting, and also B2B predominantly starting on LinkedIn and then going into email, right? And the reason why is because it's essentially every time you look at our platform, right, especially when it comes to platform choice, I'll just ask myself, one, is my niche on the platform? On the platform, right? The thing is, if your niche is not on the platform, then there's no point in using that platform to get them, right? Number two, is it easy to find their details, right? So for example, and I'll give you this example here because we actually were looking to use Facebook, okay? So Facebook was one of the things that we wanted to look at for, right? So we wanted to use Facebook, also happened to IG, right? IG to generate clients, okay? To generate clients, right? So we knew that we could use Facebook and IG to generate clients, but the main thing about Facebook, the main thing about IG, it's harder, right? It's not impossible, but it's harder to find good leads versus LinkedIn for us, right? LinkedIn, okay? So, because the thing about Facebook in here, like the thing about Facebook is all about groups, right? But the main thing about groups, which is Facebook, and then here it's all about comments or followers, right? That's how you find these comments or finding someone who has a lot of followers, right? So influencers. The thing about these things here is that with Facebook, we found that the people in the groups may not really be agency owners. There's not really a way that you can tell, and it wasn't self-classifying themselves like, hey, I'm an agency owner, and they were just may join the group. So when we done the outreach, we found a lot of people unqualified. The same thing with Instagram, like people don't use Instagram usually for business. People do, but not a lot of people classify themselves in terms of the business that they own, right? So knowing that, we've actually stopped using IG and we just went all in on LinkedIn. Like that's the only thing we went all in on because it was easy for us to find these people, say what type of business they run, how many employees they have, how long they've been in the business, right? And it was easy for us to target them people because we knew that they were serious, right? And that's why when you're coming to kind of picking your niche, especially from the recommendation, you also want to take things into consideration in terms of how easy it is to find the details and are they actually on the platform, right? And and essentially that is where you want to go when it comes to scaling this. Especially when it comes to, let's say, finding out your niche, number one, and finding out what the platform that they use to kind of scale them on, right? Now, the last thing I want to talk about is KPIs. Now, I want to just go through in terms of KPIs, in terms of what to expect when you're going through this, right? So KPIs. So with LinkedIn, you're looking at around a 2.5% ABR. That you guys cannot see that. Let's come here. So a 2.5% ABR, right? Which it means I'm gonna just quickly do the maths. So that is so let's say 2.5% ABR. So 2% ABR is 50. So it's around like 40 messages, 30 to 40 messages. Which is 30 to 50 messages per appointment, right? Per appointment. Okay. That's really what you want to go through. When it comes to, let's say, email, now, depending on how good your email is, your ABR should be anywhere between 0.5% all the way to 1%, the highest ABR, right? So that is anywhere between 100 to anywhere to like 500 per messages, per emails, per appointment, per app, right? Per app appointment. Okay, so this way you're looking at 0.5 to 1% ABR and 2.5 1% ABR, right? And essentially this is kind of where you want to be at. Now, you know, if you're around that stage, you're good. You can start scaling the campaign, but all you're doing at first is just making sure that you're testing, and it looks like this, basically iteration after iteration after iteration, and testing until you get to this point. And then once you're at this point, then you're just going to be adding volume, right? Add volume. Right? Now, a quick pro tip, kind of like how these funnels usually go, right? So in terms of email, the funnel usually looks like this, right? And this is how you know you've got email really dialed in. So number one to here will be first email, right? First email. Then here will be reply. So that'll be positive reply. So I'm going to put P. Then they're going to have to get a call straight away. Call. Then book in. Okay? Book in. So it's first email, positive reply, call, book in. Right? So here, you can also reply to them. So here they're going to get a call plus reply. And then you can then book them into their calendar. Right? This is kind of how the funnel looks like for LinkedIn, and how the workflow for email, how the workflow looks like for LinkedIn. It's pretty much simple, right? So I'm just going to do the connection. So they get a connection request. Let me just come here. So they get a connection request. So I'm going to put request, right? Then here they accept. Then if you come into this, then here it's going to be so they request, they accept, they get the first opener. Then once they positive reply, then they're going to get a pitch, and then book in. Right? So this is kind of the flow that I'll be using for like email, and the flow that I'll be using also for LinkedIn. Right? And essentially that's it. That is kind of what you need. And knowing what you know now, you can pick. And the main pick that you're looking for is, are you going to be going to email first or LinkedIn first? Now, if you're, another quick pro tip, because I'm going to give you as much value in here, is that if you're like B2B and you're on email and LinkedIn, I would do both, but I would prioritize LinkedIn first, right? I'll do LinkedIn first. I'll set up this system, and then I'll go on email. Okay? And this will literally help you scale, right? Now, if you want to learn how to go through all of this, I know I've kind of give a lot of value in this call, but if you want to go through how to go through all of this, put this into your agency, there is a chance for you to do three things in the video. Number one, like, sub, and share, right? And then number two, just quick go to the bio and check it for me, right? There's going to be a link for us to schedule a call. Just do them two things: like, subscribe, go to the bio and check it. And yeah, that's all it from this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.